Number 5, we're looking at cassette tapes. Those are old things that your parents probably used to play music, and me. The table shows the number of audio cassette tapes shipped for several years during the period 1994 to 2002. Write an equation that models the number of tapes shipped in millions as a function of the number of years since 1994. So we're thinking of this as X and this is Y. Years since 1994, so this would be like year 0. 96 is 2 years later. 98 is 4 years later. 2000 be 6 years later, and 2002 be 8 years later. So write an equation. Well, the first thing we have to do is we need to make a scatter plot, a line of fit, and then we can make the equation. So I've got my data here. Let me get some graph paper. Oops, not 2 of them. Since we're dealing with tapes in years, we only have positive values, so I'm going to focus on quadrant 1. So we've got years since 1994, and we've got tapes shipped in millions. So if I plot points, let's see, X's go from 0 to 8. I can go by 1s, no problem. The Y's, on the other hand, go from 345 down to 31. So let's see. I think basically I'm going from 0 to about 350. To fit that, maybe I'll go by 25s. So I've got 25, there's 50, 75, 100. There's 150, 200, 250, 300, and 350. We should be able to fit everything. Okay, so 0, 345, just kind of ballparking. Here's 325, 345, a little less than 350. 2, 225. That one we can hit right on the nose. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 159. Okay, 159. There's 175. Sure, right about there. Close enough. 6, 76. Okay, 100, 75, just a little more than 75. And 8, 31. 8, there's 25, sure, right about there. There's definite negative correlation. What's going on as the years go by? The number of tapes being shipped is going down, 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 because CDs were going up and up and up. If we draw a fitted line, try to get about half the dots on top and bottom. I think we're looking okay right there. Come up with the equation, find 2 points you can see pretty clearly. I'm going to use, that looks like a pretty good point, 2, 250. Again, they don't have to be red dots. Use points on the line. I'm going to use that one right there. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 125. Okay, you want an equation? You need your slope. Find it with your slope equation. Y minus y over x minus x. We get negative 125 over 250 minus 125 is a positive 125. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. Our slope's negative here because the number of tapes being shipped is going down. It actually comes out to be about negative 41.6 repeating. I'll call it negative 41.7. So my equation would be y equals negative 100, negative 41.7x. I made a good graph so I can see my y-intercept. Looks like right about there at 325, so plus 325. Now we're going to use that equation in the other parts of the problem. So let's cut it. Let's go back and let's finish this problem. So part A, we've done. We wrote the equation. Part B, at about what rate did the number of tapes shipped change over time? Rate is just a fancy word for slope. So we look at our slope, we could say each year, the number of tapes being shipped goes down by about 41.7 million. Approximate the year in which 125 million tapes were shipped. So the key is knowing where do we plug 125. Number X was years since 1994. Y is number of tapes. We needed to put 125 in for Y. 125 equals negative 41.7x plus 325. Of course, that's just fence posting. Get the x by itself. Subtract 325. What's this going to be? Negative 200 equals negative 41.7x. Dividing by negative 41.7, we find out that x equals 4.79, which I suppose if I estimated to the nearest year, it would be about 5 years. It doesn't mean in the year 5 when the Romans and the Greeks were all around that they were shipping tapes. It means 5 years since 1994. So we'd say 5 years since 1994, that's about 1999. We'd estimate that in 1999, there were about 125 million tapes shipped. The last part, part D, find the zero of the function. Zero of a function, what do I plug in for x? So I get 0 for y. Okay, basically, what do I plug in for x so my function kicks out 0? So again, we're at a fence post. We would subtract 325 on both sides. Negative 325 equals negative 41.7x. If you divide by negative 41.7, negative 325 divided by negative 41.7, yeah, we get about, x is about 7.79, so we could say it's pretty close to 8. What does that mean? Explain what the zero of the function means. 8 years since 1994. So in 2002, or sometime a little after 2002, we would expect there to be 0 tapes shipped.